So what is serviced accommodation? Now, unless you've been under a rock for the past at least a couple of years, then you've probably been seeing serviced accommodation absolutely everywhere. Now, this is by far the hottest cash flowing property strategy in the UK right now, and it has just gone bang in the last couple of years. But what exactly is service accommodation? Now, it's basically service accommodation is an alternative to hotels, right? It's instead of going to a hotel, you actually staying somewhere that you've got access to the whole place. So it's like a whole apartment, a whole house. You've got a kitchen, your own bathroom, your living area. It's essentially a lot more comfortable. It's like a home away from home. And there's a lot of different names for it. So, some is called holiday lets, short-term rental. Some people just call it Airbnb. There's a reason why people call it Airbnb because, that is now the dominant player in the field when it comes to actually advertising your service accommodation units. But, service accommodation is not something new at all. This is something that's been going for absolute decades. It's just renting your home on a short-term basis. So people are renting it out on a night per night basis as opposed to, signing a contract for 12 months, as a, what we call it AST, assured short hold tenancy. So it isn't like that at all. You're just renting out the property on a short-term basis. It could be for a month, 2 months, but the guests, so you don't have tenants, you have guests. So the guests are paying on a night per night basis. And this is why it has taken the UK by storm. What really happened, the reason why this just went bang, for two reasons. First of all, a company called Airbnb came into the space and they really kind of, I was going to say democratized, but actually they became like a conglomerate, right? So it was more of a dictatorship because they became a really, really huge player in the space. So it made marketing this your properties a lot easier and a lot more visible to the world. Like right now, Airbnb Booking.com have over 1.4 billion people subscribe to them. This is when you think about the scale of this. If Airbnb Booking.com were actually a country, they would be the third largest country in the world. Only third to China, India, and then it would be Airbnb. So this has now become a huge market globally. So Airbnb, a massive player in the scale of it. But COVID has just taken it to a whole new level because what people discovered over COVID was they needed their own sanctity. They needed their own space. So while a lot of people were saying, the hospitality industry was coming to its knees, which a lot of the sector was, actually the service accommodation sector was booming because both sides of the argument didn't want to stay in hotels. So some people didn't want to stay in hotels because they felt that the restrictions should be tighter and no one should actually be out there in hotels mingling. So they stayed in service apartments. On the other side, these people felt like there was too much restrictions, right? So they also didn't want to go to the hotels. So they also stayed in Airbnbs and, serviced apartments. But here's the thing. What these people realized is, wow, this is first of all cheaper when compared to per head. We don't have to sleep in different rooms. We can actually spend time together as a family, as if we were just at home. There's no difference. Or even if we were traveling from different places, let's say someone was coming from Germany or someone was coming from America, we're family members and now we've gone our separate ways. And when we come together, we can actually stay in the same home. Like it's a home away from home. So people started to like this. And actually on a per head basis, actually works out cheaper than staying in a hotel. So this industry just went bang like that, right, over the last couple of years because the market almost educated itself. And now we've come out of COVID, people now actually prefer this. But the beauty is there is now been a money-making opportunity for many people up and down the country. In fact, thousands of people up and down the country are now becoming financially free by using this strategy. Because what they're not doing, because of the demand, what they're not doing is they're not going to landlords and saying, hey, look, well, I'll just pay you your rent. So you're going to be guaranteed, for the next 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, whatever it might be, we're going to guarantee your rent. But then you're going to allow us a clause in the contract to sublet the property and we're going to use them as serviced apartments and we're going to be charging per night. And the margin we make on top of it, we get to keep. And the thing is, the margins that people are making actually far outweighs what the landlords themselves are making, right? So with a Airbnb, a service department, you're making 2, 3, 4, 5 times the amount of profit as you would by just renting out the property on a long-term 12 months or 18-month contracts. So this is why there has been an absolute boom in the last couple of years, and many people up and down the UK, as I mentioned, are now replacing their income and quitting their jobs by starting a serviced accommodation business. So if for whatever reason you don't, first of all, yet understand this, is something you should definitely be thinking about. If you're a landlord and you're thinking, how can I actually get more income from my property? Then this is certainly a strategy you should be thinking about. And if you're someone sitting there thinking, I want to get into property, I want to start making money through property, I don't have tens of thousands of pounds, but I want to get involved, how do I do that? Then this is certainly a strategy that you should all be looking at as well. So look, I hope you all found that valuable, and I hope that's given you a bit more of some historical context to Airbnb or service accommodation and what you've really been hearing about over the past couple of years. And really, this is the business that I do, right? So a lot about Airbnb, service accommodation, how to actually get started, the registration process, how to list your properties, how to find your properties, making sure that you're compliant, the whole management process. Is actually a lot of content I'm going to be sharing on this channel. So if you like some more content like this, then make sure to like this, subscribe, and then hit the notification bell, because every time we release a new video, then you will be notified straight away. And I will see you all on the next video.